Let's talk about attribution bias. Imagine you have an urgent project to complete and you need to work on it with your coworker, Richard. But the problem is Richard is late, really late. But you don't take the time to ask why he is late. Instead, your brain is quick to connect the dots. He doesn't care, he lacks discipline, and he's lazy. Well, your brain just took a common shortcut called the fundamental attribution error. When witnessing another person's behavior leading to a negative outcome, we tend to attribute that behavior to their intrinsic nature while underestimating situational factors. In other words, we assume it's because of who they are, not because of what's going on around them. It doesn't matter if Richard has a legitimate reason. He was late. Your brain jumps to conclusions about the type of person Richard is. Because of the fundamental attribution error, you have a negative perception of Richard, and it further affects your judgment of Richard's actions in the future. Every mistake he makes now amplifies that negative perception. You no longer see Richard talking to his coworker and think, "I'm glad he is building rapport." You assume he is just being lazy and trying to get out of work. Richard has important information about Jack Cooper's management at a glance process, but you tune him out because you don't think he is smart enough to teach you anything new. Because of that, you have difficulty completing your next MAG-related assignment. You can't get it done within work hours, and you have to take it home to finish. You fall asleep working and forget to set your alarm. You wake up and realize you were supposed to be at the terminal 10 minutes ago. Now you are late. Apologizing to your boss, you feel guilty. There was nothing you could have done. It's just one of those days where everything goes wrong. You just followed another brain shortcut. This time, it's called the self-serving bias. When we analyze our own behavior leading to a negative outcome, we attribute it to situational factors instead of our own intrinsic nature in order to see ourselves more positive. Translation, we are more willing to accept excuses outside of our control for ourselves, even though we don't afford that same luxury to others. In summary, the fundamental attribution error is when we attribute someone else's behavior to their intrinsic nature because we lack information about situational factors. In other words, we are more likely to make judgments about other people's character instead of seeing the full picture. On the other hand, we tend to attribute our own behavior to external factors in order to protect our self-esteem, meaning we allow ourselves to make excuses for our own mistakes. The important takeaway is that they both are subjective. They both fail to take into account all of the different things that are going on in people's lives that lead to mistakes in the workplace. Looking at things that are outside of our control in the context of our own unique personalities and way of doing things protects us and our coworkers from misjudging one another. What does this mean for Jack Cooper employees? Don't assume the worst of people. One mistake does not make someone a bad person or a bad employee. Be aware that your brain could be creating shortcuts and making quick judgments that don't align with reality. Don't make excuses for your own weaknesses. Recognize when there are areas where you struggle and work hard to improve them. We can't make any changes unless we recognize there is a reason to change. Last, be aware of how your brain can alter your perception of people and their actions, including yourself. Again, awareness is step one in making a positive change. At Jack Cooper, we are one team. Let's encourage one another to do our best on a daily basis. To do that, we have to be able to look ahead and see the potential of each team member without letting our brains trick us into dwelling on the past. This is how we push forward together to a better future.